我会讲中文。
不好意思，随便哪个座位都行，比较靠前。
只有我们两个。
Traveling while you're sick really isn't fun. I'm still kicking myself for catching a chill gallivanting through Korea with little winter clothes battling sub-zero temperatures. Because I could not savor the experience of an overnight long-haul business class flight with China Eastern Airlines. As I started to develop a fever, I just thank God this trip wasn't done when COVID restrictions were in place. And it's a good thing I wasn't doing this in economy class.
Step 1, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
G'day guys and welcome back to my video. I'm coming to you from Nanjing 禄口国际机场. Yes, Nanjing International Airport because today China Eastern Airlines is taking me on my final flight back to Australia from here to Melbourne. It will be done in business class, so come along with me and let's see what flying China Eastern Airlines on long haul is all about. Let's do this.
Everybody just do your thing.
If you're new to my channel, my name's Ryan, and I'd like to welcome you into my world. Born and bred in Singapore, I now call Australia home, and I create heaps of travel content. Mostly flight reviews, the occasional train journey and destination vlogs. This flight is the finale of my journey through 4 countries and 1 territory over the course of 10 days, where I cover the 3 major airline alliances with 8 airlines. All videos are now linked in the description below, so make sure to check it out if you haven't. You can make a direct impact into the growth of my channel by giving me a like. Even better, hit subscribe so you won't miss the next travel series. Early access to my videos can be done through my channel's membership as well. So here's a heartfelt thanks for all your support, and let's get this video started. Today I find myself in Lukou International Airport, which serves the Jiangsu provincial capital city of Nanjing. It's located some 300 kilometers west of Shanghai. We're in Terminal 2, which is the designated international terminal. China Eastern Airlines is the largest carrier operating out of here, connecting Lukou Airport with 64 destinations. 14 of these are international, covering much of Japan, Taiwan, Southeast Asia, Australia, and at the time of writing, there will be a flight to Paris Charles de Gaulle operating 4 times a week from July 2025. FYI, there is a part 1 to this video where I flew in from Seoul Incheon Airport with China Eastern, and I went through a rather cumbersome transit moments ago. As I exited the transit facility, the white doors you see behind me were then locked up until the next international transit passenger shows up. Despite China Eastern being a dominant airline operating out of here, they do not have their own lounge. Instead, we are directed to the V7 International First Class Lounge, which is a contract lounge operated by the Airport Authority. Being the only lounge at Terminal 2, suppose they also cater to all other airlines operating out of here. You can also access this location with Priority Pass and the Chinese version of that known as 空港一航. Chinese airports are largely incredibly modern. Nanjing Lukou is no exception. Terminal 2 was opened in 2014 in time for the city's hosting duties for the International Summer Youth Olympics. The V7 Lounge presents an excellent location to while away your hours as you await your flight. The environment is tranquil, and it never really got crowded during my stay here. Although the first class description has to be taken with a huge grain of salt. The Chinese can build impressive airports, but they cannot do lounges. I have yet to experience a lounge in China which is memorable. The catering here is incredibly local. So if you have a picky Western palate with an entire Excel spreadsheet of food allergies, then you'll have an issue here. Personally, I thought the food was okay, nothing outstanding, and maybe even a little bland. Pickles, potato slices with dried chili, garlic vegetables, pork bowls wrapped in tofu skin, cabbage soup, very, very homely, but hardly first class.
I am the only person in the lounge. There is no one here besides me and the staff, so I am by myself. Cool. This feels a bit surreal.
In part 1 of this video, I made a brief mention about me catching a chill when I was in Seoul yesterday. So I was strangely feeling very fatigued with aching joints as I began my journey earlier today at Incheon Airport. Thankfully, there was a little snooze corner where I took a nap for a couple of hours, keeping my fingers crossed this sickly feeling would not eventuate into a full-blown fever, because I felt it coming. Later that evening, I had one more round of dinner, and they served the same selection of food. Guess I wasn't all that sick since I still had an appetite. But all this was set to change as we got closer to the time of departure. Melbourne is the state capital of Victoria in Australia, and they've had a long-standing relationship with the province of Jiangsu, where Nanjing is the capital city. This relationship, dating back to 1979, has fostered significant economic, cultural, and educational ties between the two entities. The Victoria-Jiangsu Joint Economic Committee plays a key role in overseeing this relationship. In July 2024, the state government of Victoria, together with Melbourne Airport, came together to partner with China Eastern Airlines to begin flights between Nanjing and Melbourne 3 times a week. I suppose these subsidies from the Aussies do help, because I kid you not when I say this was almost all the passengers on tonight's 10-hour red-eye to the land down under. Operating flight MU851 tonight is Bravo 6538, one of the several aircraft in China Eastern's fleet carrying the SkyTeam livery. This Airbus A330-200 first flew in November 2011, making her just over 13 and a half years old at the time of writing. China Eastern's long-haul configuration for their business class product is very varied. There are so many versions, and these configurations will ping-pong back and forth and change according to the aircraft type and the airport you're departing out from. If you're departing Shanghai Pudong, chances of getting individual pods with privacy shells is very high. The chances of this start to wither out of Shanghai Hongqiao. When you depart from a Tier 2 city, like what I'm doing tonight, flying out of Nanjing Lukou, you get assigned these cabins, which are configured in a 222, which lacks privacy. It's like going back to the days when flying business class was a much simpler affair. I absolutely love boarding a Chinese airline on a long-haul flight, because the amount of cabin crew greeting you at the door amounts to half a football team. There are so many of them, some even spill out into the jet bridge. Tonight's crew is based in Shanghai, and they have made the commute to Nanjing to specially operate this flight to Melbourne. To say they were friendly is an understatement. As soon as they saw my red-colored boarding pass, several of them lit up like fireworks and started popping like firecrackers going off during Chinese New Year. Strangely, they greeted me in English and proceeded to usher me into the business cabin. I did see 3 other passengers seated there, but I'm told I'm the only passenger tonight, so feel free to sit anywhere. Turns out the 3 other passengers were the Sky Marshal, and 2 other dead-heading airline employees.
我会讲中文。
哦，不好意思，那随便哪个座位都行，比较靠前。
只有我们2个。
对，
您看坐哪里都可以。
All right. Look, obviously I didn't film it, but the steward who took my order was down on his knees next to me, taking my dinner orders and my drink orders for after takeoff. Yeah, service is fantastic. We've got slippers, and there's also pajamas. So China Eastern gives you pajamas for long haul overnight flights, and yeah, there are only 1, 2, 3, 4 passengers tonight, so I have the whole row all to myself. They told me to sit wherever I want. Yeah, this is a good sign, I suppose. I won't have anyone next to me. But yeah, he just came back with a hot towel. Service is really, really amazing so far, so it's a good first impression. Yeah, so I have the whole row all to myself. They told me I can sit anywhere I want. So it's a pretty good start, I think. Yeah.
I'd like to address something as we're pushing back. As I was the only passenger in business class, I was going to be served 2 full meals on this flight to Melbourne. For dinner, I had 4 options to choose from, 2 Western and 2 Chinese. And for breakfast, there was once again a Western and Chinese option. Later in flight, I saw that the airline employees seated behind me were tucking into meals from economy class. So just for me, the sole paying passenger in business class, they had prepared 6 meals. Times like this, I do feel a little guilty because that was a lot of food going into the bin after landing at Tullamarine. I wonder if the crew would have shared the meals amongst themselves later in flight after the lights were turned off. If there are any cabin crew watching this video, what do you guys do with all that extra food? Leave a comment below to let me know. On takeoff from Lumpur Airport, the flight path would roughly follow the eastern coastline, flying past Hangzhou and Xiamen before coasting out over Shantou. Heading over the South China Sea, we journey over the archipelagos of Philippines and Indonesia, then making landfall down under over Darwin. We continue over the desert across the Great Outback before approaching Melbourne Airport from the north for a straight-in approach, covering a distance of just under 8,200 kilometers and a flight time of 10 hours 45 minutes. Before we start dinner service, let's take a quick look over the in-flight entertainment, one of the weak points of China Eastern. Firstly, the headphones provided aren't exactly cutting edge, and the international content within the IFE itself is adequate more than excellent. There are random episodes of Hunger Games, for example, but not the complete lineup. The Chinese options, on the other hand, are excellent, perhaps a reflection of their target audience flying with them. You can literally spend hours going through movies after movies. But if you don't understand Chinese, then your best option is to just close your eyes and go to sleep. Speaking of sleep, that was all I wanted to do, so I just let the TV run on the in-flight map. A hot towel preceded the dinner service, which was once again very welcome. The appetizer consisted of a cold salad accompanied by marinated prawns and cold cuts of pepper-crusted cured beef. I had a choice of a Western-style corn soup or the Chinese one, which was a double-boiled chicken soup. The cabin crew decided I needed to try both, and voila, he said to let him know which one I preferred because there was more if I wanted. Remember in the lounge when I said I wasn't feeling too well? By now, the fever I did not want to happen was well and truly rearing its ugly head. So this clear chicken broth was definitely a comforting start. I thought the Western creamy corn soup was alright, a little too instant for my liking. The marinated prawns and cured meat were very tasty, and I was honestly feeling slightly nauseous at this point. But I powered ahead towards the main meal, which was next in line. This next meal is a popular Chinese chicken dish known as sanbeiji or 3-cup chicken. The name is derived from the 3 cups of sauces used to cook and flavor this dish, namely soy sauce, sesame oil, and rice wine. Its flavor is further enhanced by ginger, garlic, and basil during its cooking process. This dish originated in the southern Jiangxi province, and it is today considered an extremely popular dish in Taiwan when it was introduced to the island by migrants escaping the Cultural Revolution. As delicious as this dish was, I had arrived at the threshold of my gastronomical limits. The fever, by now, was taking over, and the last thing on my mind was more food. I was presented with a dessert tray showcasing beautiful, colorful little plates of cakes, and there was also a cheese plate. But I could not look at them without the need to reach for the airsick bag. So the best course of action at this point was to extend the bed, lay down, and hope for the best as the flight continued its southerly journey. The cabin crew actually asked for my permission to darken the cabin after dinner was done, which was done promptly. A couple of hours into my sleep, I woke up burning up with the temperature to the point I thought I was going to self-implode. At the same time, I was also shivering, as if the cabin was freezing. After that strange couple of hours, the fever decided it had its fun and then disappeared altogether. As I stirred to turn on the lights, the cabin crew immediately sprung into action. All 3 of them, from different corners of the business class cabin, appeared to hover around me. One to offer me a drink, and the other a hot towel, then one more urging me to eat something for breakfast. My body was so weak from the feverish battle over the last few hours, I had no appetite to stomach anything. This is me, rejecting a second in-flight meal. For those of you who have followed my travels, you know I mop up in-flight meals like a vacuum cleaner, and then asking for seconds afterwards. Not today though, but the crew managed to convince me to have at least a plate of fresh fruits to begin my day. As the meal service items were being cleared, one of the flight attendants once again asked if I really didn't want to eat, because they had prepared both the Western and Chinese breakfast in the galley, which could be brought out in quick time. She emphasized the Chinese option was really good, consisting of congee and sides of dim sum. She even offered to show it to me if I was curious. My face turned green at the thought of some more food, so I politely declined, although I did ask for some more hot green tea. As we approached the conclusion of Flight MU851 from Nanjing Lukou Airport to Melbourne Tullamarine, let's do a little stock take on this journey so far. Nanjing Lukou Airport is very modern, bright, and airy. Although like most Chinese airports, it has the sterile charm of a typical hospital lobby. As for the strangely named V7 First Class Lounge, it was functional. As I wasn't feeling too well, I was just thankful to have a little corner with napping facilities for me to rest my exhausted body. As for the lounge catering, it did its job. That's about it. After the excellent in-flight service for the first flight between Incheon and Nanjing, I was wondering if that was a fluke, especially given what I've been told about the abysmal service levels of China Eastern Airlines. But this second flight has proven to me that the service levels have remained consistently superb. Suppose this experience was enhanced because I was the only paying passenger in business class, which was such a surreal encounter. Having 3 flight attendants fuss over you and only you, it did feel a little overwhelming at times. I'm still kicking myself for falling sick because I could not really savor this entire experience effectively. In this rather outdated configuration, I was thankfully flying solo, because if the cabin was full, I'm almost certain this experience would have been very different. We all know China Eastern Airlines isn't perfect. There are 2 rather obvious holes on this flight which I have to point out. On my 2 other flights with China Eastern and Shanghai Airlines in business class, there was a pre-departure drink served before pushback. There was none on this flight. Did they forget? I'm pretty sure China Eastern Airlines gives out amenity kits on long-haul flights like this one. And yet, these were strangely left out. Are these 2 items important? Well, I did not even realize they were missing until I was sitting down to edit this video. So perhaps it isn't as essential as we make them out to be. But in a region where you are competing with so many top-tier international airlines, the omission of these things become glaring. For this journey beginning in Incheon, transiting in Nanjing, before flying to Melbourne, I paid an eye-watering $1,062 one way, which is incredible value. So I'm willing to overlook these faults. Do you agree with my commentary about China Eastern Airlines? Let me know in the comments because I'd love to hear from you. For now, let's join live Ryan in Melbourne to wrap this video up.
And now I'm finally settled in the hotel here in Melbourne. So that was my flight on China Eastern Airlines from Nanjing to Melbourne. As you can hear, my voice is kind of nasal because I kind of had a little fever on the plane, and to the point I didn't even have my brekkie. So when I don't eat, you know that I'm really sick. Anyway, I feel much better now. I'm in Melbourne to rest for the night before I head back to Adelaide tomorrow. So if you followed my videos from the first episode, thank you for your support because this is the final episode of this travel series. So I've chucked details of my Instagram on your screen right now, so hit me up there, chuck me a follow, so you can come along with me on my travels in real time. And of course, more importantly, hit subscribe and the bell icon so you don't miss the next travel series. For now, take care all of you, and I'll see you guys around. Bye!